Welcome to the Circular Momentum podcast, brought to you by CL2B and Circular Economy in Action. On this podcast, we'll be talking to business leaders on the frontiers of the circular economy transition in Vietnam. I'm John Vu, your host for today's episode. And on today's episode, we'll be taking a look at the food and beverage sector in the hospitality industry. Specifically, we'll be looking at a local craft beer brewery in Vietnam and their approach to circular economy, specifically looking at recycling, reducing, repurposing, redesigning the materials and the waste in their business. I'm very pleased to have with us here on today's episode Miss Saori Ushimi, founder and CEO of Seven Bridges Brewery. Great to have you with us, Saori.
I'm very honored to be here. Thank you so much, John.
So I'm very, very fascinated by your journey in Vietnam, from working for Japanese development agency JICA, a decade ago, is that correct? To now impact brewing in craft beer and in the restaurant industry.
Yes.
Could you share with me more about what motivated this transition for you?
So I wanted to do something more like local level, community level. So then okay, maybe I do my own project. Mm-hmm. And that was the reason. Okay, so I finish with this government organization and then do something by myself. Mm-hmm. Through the power of business, mm-hmm. I believe that we can do something, at least to the society. That was the motivation, yes.
I was wondering if you could share more about the traditional practice, right? Of the F&B industry in how wastewater is treated here in Vietnam.
Real situation is restaurant, household, everyone was just throwing and dumping all the wastewater into river.
On an individual level?
Individual level, also company, like a restaurant.
I see.
Restaurant, yes. F&B level, because they are not in industrial zone. Mm-hmm. So they're just household, restaurant, and you can see so many Vietnamese residents and restaurant and things like that. But basically their wastewater is connected to, small kind of ditch or river. Mm-hmm. Then go to bigger river, mm-hmm. and then go to not treated at all. This was quite a difficult challenge for us. But this was something happening in Vietnam. And of course, as a business owner, I didn't want to, the situation like that. Yeah. And this was the big issue, how, because brewery industry use a lot of water, mm-hmm. a lot of water. So this was the first things we have to think, that how we can treat wastewater. Mm-hmm.
So at your design phase of your brewery, you already thought how you would treat this wastewater and build this ecosystem that
yes.
would prevent wastewater from entering the community into the waterways?
As small business, we don't have a big budget. Then we decided to do it by ourselves, but we have to study, we have to collaborate with different organizations. We have to find finding solution by ourselves. So initially, when the brewery started operating, we had to connect industrial water treatment system, mm-hmm. Pay the fee for them. Mm-hmm. But for a few months, I think we had to use their wastewater treatment system. However, we set up our own system, and then no wastewater was coming out from us. The cost of treatment fee significantly dropped as well. Mm-hmm. Yes, in the end, we saved a lot.
What solutions, when you designed it yourself, can you share more?
Okay.
Yes.
When you brew beer, we have lots of sediments, mold, spent grain. Mm-hmm. So first important things is you remove those organic materials. So we just simply filter it, and the water come into the tank. So anaerobic, so no air. Mm-hmm. But that tank has sludge. Do you know sludge?
Yes.
Sludge But the sludge has lots of microbes, organisms living in there. So that microbes actually can dissolve, like compost, all the organic materials in the water. And then that more cleaner water coming into vetiver pond. So the vetiver pond is like 100 square meter, so like full of vetiver pond. So it goes to the roots, yeah? And then roots has this magical function to clean, purify water. And then in Jen coming to big cleaner pond. So we did the test examination, like, the water, how clean it is. It was very, very clean, much cleaner than like city standard.
Incredible.
So that water is also connected by pipe to like sprinkler for this organic garden, organic vegetable garden. So we were like growing those vegetables in our factory.
Really
and
awesome.
Then that was taken to the tap room. Yeah.
Those roots come from a
Vetiver.
local plant?
It's originated in this region.
In this region,
yeah.
yes.
So seems like in India they use a lot of it, but that plant is really magical. Vetiver is a very magical plant. Actually, you can make essential oil out of it, and the essential oil is famous for like anti-mosquito spray, and has a really good smell as well. Yeah.
It can clean sludged water. It can
Yes.
become essential oils
It's
and
like
prevent mosquitoes.
magical.
It's magical. It's a super
Magical
vegetable.
water. Yes. The issue though is they need space. So if the factory is very small, and then there is no like the land to plant the vegetable, that could be not vegetable, sorry, the plants. That could be a little bit challenging.
Would you say it's a common practice among the craft beer or the brewing industry to integrate organic and vegetable ponds within the site of their factory?
Never heard of it.
You've never heard of it before?
Never heard of it, never seen it, and never met doing that before. It's just like coming up our like crazy idea and believing this is possible. So there is like it's like proof of concept. You know?
Nice.
So R&D study and the proof of concept, and then it being very successful.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Love it.
Crazy, yes. But good things is eventually it went very low cost to make in a wastewater treatment system. So like it was perfect for small company like us. And then we could again save the water,
Yes.
right? Also like a treatment fee, we save a lot. So
Just imagining how much costs you've saved over the years since 2017 now.
yeah.
That can be, reinvested in other ways or
Yes.
into your business. That's really great.
Very, very, yes.
In my view and experience of the food and beverage industry, it's very traditional still. Like it's a very, very linear model. We make products, sell it to the consumers who consume it, create waste. And from how I see it is that a lot of this materials and a lot of this waste in this process isn't being reused, isn't being collected and sorted, isn't being recycled or repurposed in another way. With this in mind, how do you see this situation and how does your business approach differ from the traditional way?
In our tap rooms, always there is unsellable beers, right? So we have like 20 to 40 beer taps,
Okay.
right? And every day when we open the tap, because there is old beer in a tube, they have to throw it away. They have to dump it. So monthly we can have like 60 to 100 liter of just like throwing it away. But beer, it's maybe it's not for drinking for for the customer. I can still drink, but
You don't want to sell it to your customers.
Yeah, I don't want to sell it to the customer, right? So we collect it. We don't throw it away, and we keep it, and then we convert it into vinegar. This is a very, very delicious vinegar that we make in our place. And by using that vinegar, we make the signature hot sauce that we have. So the customer very, very like the pizza with this chili sauce. But this chili sauce is actually made by our waste product.
Wow.
Yeah. So something like this, we collect everything, and this is like beer part. But also like more like operational side, we also did study of what kind of waste we are producing per day, and what is the content of waste. In organic waste, we have more canned waste, like we open so many like tomato cans, for example, the canned product, right? Lots of can. Also like a beer can. These are like some like unofficial worker. They come to collect it.
The informal workers within the
unofficial, yes, informal
workers
sector.
In Vietnam that the waste collection system really relies on.
They are excellent. They take, they come and take everything. This is again like a proof of concept stage. But what we are doing is we have this like plastic recycling organization in Hoi-An. So we send all our plastic waste to them. So they actually make furniture for us. So for example, we use their chair, and they can make like almost like they are basically making like a pallet, the pallet for export and
the pallets that are typically made of wood or plastic.
But they are actually making the pallet by the recycled plastic. But they can make also kind of bench and the chair, things like that.
Which your customers use in your restaurant.
So we want to convert, we want to like increase the amount of those kind of furniture when we make our tap room. Like even this is made by our waste. Like repurpose it, like perfect example of upcycling, So it's not like happening one day, and we have to do lots of R&D and proof of concept, and then like coming to this stage.
Maybe you could share a little bit more about your brewing process on the operational side and the byproducts and the waste that come out of that way, and if you use anything.
In order to brew 2,000 liter of beer, we use around 350 kilogram of grain, like malt, like a beer source of grain. So this grain has a lot of sugar, and that sugar is extracted by boiling it with water, become more, become beer, that sugar part. But then left over, the grain was now like taken out, sugar taken out, but the grain itself is full of fiber and protein. This is amazing. So one time we get about, in order to make like 2,000 liter of beer, each time we get like 400 kilogram of this spent grain. But this can be 100% go to dumping site, which is often.
Is that the case for most breweries?
Yes. So that they don't see the value anymore, like just throw it away.
To the landfill, basically.
Landfill. But some better breweries, they use it for the food, as a food for chicken and pigs. And because we produce quite a lot, like we cannot recycle everything. So that's another solution. We use it as animal food.
As animal
right?
feed, yes.
Animal feed. And they actually super nutritious protein, fiber, rich food. So they become, quite good meat.
Wow.
Yeah. So, but apart from that, we try to develop the product out of the spent grain. The spent grain, what we do is around at this time, still like not scaling up. So smaller quantity is recycled. About, I would say like 1/10, like about 10%. What we do is we dry the spent grain because it's wet. We squeeze it and then we dry and spent grain become like very dry material again. And then we mill it, means we make it very fine powder. Yeah. So the powder now into our pizza dough.
Wow.
Yes. And also we make bread, sourdough bread of course you have to mix with normal flour, but percentage go to spent grain sourdough bread, pizza. We make cookies.
All of this brewery spent grain is either sold? Is it sold to your partners as animal feed, or do they just come collect it?
It's not like that.
Okay.
We give them.
You give them. I see. Yeah, I see.
Give them.
Because of so much volume, you give it to some of these farms.
Yeah, farmers
for their
nearby.
animals to use it as animal feed, and then you also create products out of this brewery spent grain.
Yeah. Also, we can compost it.
Compost it.
Easy to compost it because it has a lot of nutrition. So we try. So like monthly speaking, we produce like nearly 4 tons of spent grain. It can't go to dumping site.
I see.
Like 4 tons is a quite big amount, isn't it?
Do you think the industry would, like these farmers, would be interested in paying for this high quality spent grain as animal feed? It seems like there's a lot of breweries in Vietnam.
Yeah.
Vietnam is, I believe, like the second largest beer consuming country in this region, actually.
Yeah.
Do you think that it could become like a revenue stream for you or for like the industry itself?
I think if we, I've heard like, for example, because that is so valuable, nutritious, some company, like a big company like Heineken and things like that, they might be already working with farmers. But like as when we started in that brewery, it was like, we didn't have that, how to say, concept. But what we wanted was like, okay, we give you free food, right? So we need your pig and chicken. So can we give us good price?
I see.
Yeah.
So there is still a value exchange, actually.
Yeah. Even though it was refused. But they for them it's like difficult to change their mindset. It was a very like local farmer, so this is anyway it goes to waste and we are picking it. So so this is like all about process. But my future dream is we own our farm.
Yes.
Yeah. So animal farm. That's something we wanna do it by ourselves. So we make sure this pig is 100% grown by our food, and then like they are sold in our tap rooms, and chicken same. They can also eat organic waste. So ideal situation is a brewery closer to the like a tap rooms or like.
Yeah, it would be in an ideal world if you could have that whole ecosystem within the Seven Bridges company.
Yeah.
But I guess when we're talking about like creating impact and scalability, because I understand that a lot of the farmers rely on imported feed actually, so they're paying and buying feed from other countries, and the logistics of that creates more carbon emissions.
Yes.
If everything was able to be sourced locally by collaboration with businesses like yourself, I think there could be so many win-win situations.
Yes.
But depends on mindset, right?
Yes, depend on mindset. Also, the difficult part of handling the spent grain is if we dry it, maybe it's possible.
I see.
Yeah.
That would require more R&D from your side.
I know, exactly.
Yeah, because if we're talking about scalability, right?
Yeah.
We for this circular economy transition to occur, we need to find solutions such as what we just described, and see how we can do this at scale. Like you're creating beer at scale, right? You're importing it. You're exporting it to other cities and other regions in Vietnam, perhaps regionally too, and perhaps these solutions can be scaled even further.
Yeah. So the scalability, I mean, to scaling up, this is the most challenging part for us, and we have in smaller scale we have already great proof of concept. Right? And like chili sauce, by using our vinegar, recycled vinegar, they are scaling up now. Like we have to make 200 jars, 300 jars at one time. Now people buy it too. However, if we want to scaling up more, means like quite a bit of investment of equipment and actually everything. And small company like us always struggle, like make sure, even though like potential, there is a potential, but it takes time to create revenue for us. But how are we gonna secure that investment amount? Yeah, this is a very challenging part actually.
I'm interested to hear more about the food waste that comes from your restaurants, and how, if you have found any solutions to address this. As I understand, Vietnam is also the #2 producer of food waste in Asia, right after China. We've produced an incredible amount of food waste, and I would imagine that because of our informal waste sector, it's often mixed. It becomes mixed waste, and it ends up in landfill or incineration or otherwise. So how do you approach the food waste?
Yeah, so like interestingly, for example, pizza dough waste, like a pizza crust waste, we can make beer out of it.
Wow.
So like we call it.
So the customers eat the pizza and there's still the crust remaining?
So we collect and we can still make beer.
Wow.
Yeah, it's grain. So it's called upcycle beer.
Wow.
Quite good, actually, quite good. So this is one way of using it, but of course, we have to sell huge volume to collect all the pizza dough. So what we do at this moment is like we try to separate the organic waste from different waste. So what we found was the solution. So the guy living in Dong Nai, and he's actually gathering all the kitchen waste, organic waste, and then they're growing larvae.
The black soldier fly larvae.
Black soldier fly larvae, right? And then it becomes like there's so many, and they're eating like all like organic waste, and then those like very nicely fat larvae is eaten by the chicken, right? Chicken looks beautiful. Wow. Perfect protein, perfect food for chicken. So they are selling that chicken to the city. So we wanted to collaborate with them. However, the transportation, shipping was an issue. Like they say like they come to our tap room to collect the garbage, and we put the garbage outside on the street. But sometimes like picking, like how to say, like a driver, shipper doesn't come, shipper some issue. So then the organic waste was just for there outside, and then cat comes, dog comes, and just causing mess, you know. So this is like we love their concept, and they also love, okay, you know, you guys wanna work together. However, this logistic part was extremely challenging as well.
So there's this growing middle class.
Right.
And I would assume that this segment is also one of your key customer targets.
Yes, definitely, yes.
So I would be interested if you could share more about your customers and their mindset and their behaviors, and if it influences the way you do business.
Definitely, this like their behavior, I feel like definitely changing. Like not only like price driven, I would say like their amount of alcohol consumption, like beer consumption. Younger generation do not drink much alcohol. More like, okay, I don't drink a lot, but if I drink, I want to drink something different, something unique, something like made in Vietnam, and then like premium. So they more care about taste. I saw so many like young Vietnamese customer, like when we had a chance to talk, like they said like, oh yeah, we don't drink too much, but we love your product, like, you know, we love your story, and many people know our stories and supporting.
So the F&B industry is known for really tight profit margins, and I believe over 90% of F&B businesses fail in the first 2 years. Is that right? Yes. As we're closing up this episode soon, I was wondering if you know, as a business that has started in 2017, that has like, you know, survived during COVID, past COVID, the last 7 years too, and has also integrated sustainability and worked on it from the very beginning, and I believe you plan to still work on it. What final parting advice would you provide to other leaders of small businesses?
We try to innovate something new always. So in this industry, the status quo doesn't exist, you know? So things are very rapidly changing, and we cannot just keep serving same things, right? So we have to understand what is the trend, what is the customer want, and understanding it, and then always create something interesting for them, not only like beer, but also like more like diversified menu, or like taking trend into our operation. But also like combined with sustainable story in it. So these two aspects, first like employees commitment, and second like innovating menus, like changing our style. That is really the key for us. That's how we survived during like very, very tough time.
Well, that was a lot of sharing, Saori, and it definitely is a very challenging industry that you're in, and very looking forward to seeing how you continue to innovate, to design new products, and bring more impact to our communities.
Yes, definitely, we will.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And now I would like the time to thank our sponsors. I'd like to thank RX TradeX Vietnam, Solve Branding, Preco Studios, and Amanaki Hotels. Thank you for your support.